Hi lovely viewers, it's me again, your one and only Mutati Mpundu. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time on my channel, kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel by hitting the red subscribe button down below and turn the bell icon to join the notification squad. Don't forget to like, share and leave a comment. Tell me what you think about this video in the comment section below. I'll be super glad to hear from you lovely viewers.
In the fuel, but it's not sustainable because the kwacha is rising already. As at today, it was at 20. As at today, it's already rising 24.4, I think. From just the other day, the volatility of the market exchange rate is worrying. So let's discuss what is your place of interest. The line is open. Please call now so that you're not calling when we're about to close. Call now. Call now. Because many of you come in the next hour when we are about to close, and that's when you begin to call frantically. And when we have closed, so please call now. Let's hear your views on those three matters that we want to hear from you. Ambassador, please help Zambians next year do a right thing. Can you help find a candidate the opposition can feature? We need to save Zambia. I'm a supporter of UPND and I have coordinated with the UPND. But my brother, we are suffering. Thank you very much. I'll not disclose his name. That we should help the opposition come up with a single candidate who should help resolve this crisis. So the line is open. Please join in. I'm told there are some issues around our other pages, but I am checking. Someone is trying to resolve that issue. Yeah, the UPND surprised me. The way they write, as if because YME was insulting, therefore he needs to be taken away. His life needs to be taken away by the police. Are we a democracy? Are we a Christian nation? So muntu ngala tukana nishukumu ipapa ntwale tukawa kateka. Ba UPND mulampapusha sana. Yeah. This one says the late president died in South Africa. Let him be buried in South Africa. Okay. The phone is beginning to buzz. People are complaining about low volume. I have not connected to go through the internal structure. I'll call my technician to see how they can help. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from, and please kindly speak louder.
Good evening. This is Essential Banda.
Honorable Essential Banda. How are you, sir?
I'm good, and how are you?
Very well, thank you.
Okay, I want to comment on the issue of YME.
Okay, sir. Make your contribution.
Yes, let me place it on record that I never supported the behavior of YME, not in anywhere. Coming from a background that as Zambia, we're supposed to have respect for the elderly, not at any time. However, as the matter stands, it's no longer about YME. It's about justice. Rightly so, because in any case, if people were aggrieved about YME, there are proper ways, proper channels. There's a legal process in how matters ought to be adjudicated. And actually, the board is supposed to, on the receiving end of the law, procedure followed, and handled as such. But given what's going on right now, I'm very worried, not about YME, but this, we must look at the bigger picture. If it's true, YME is dead, then as Zambians, we have got a reason to get worried. Why? Because YME, all he did were insults. He did not give any threat to the powers that be in holding on to power. Now, if that's the case, how about people who actually seemingly are viewed as a threat to those who are holding on to power. What will happen? And these are the questions we need to be asking ourselves. One thing about democracy, one of the tenets of democracy is criticism. In any functioning democracy, criticism is part and parcel of governance. And the sad part is that we have a community which has been polarized, that any criticism and is viewed as enmity by the opposite sides. If that's the case, what is how safe are those who provide criticism to the government if mere insults from this boy and had no capacity to unseat this government? If it's true he has been killed, then we have a problem as a country. We cannot fight lawlessness with lawlessness. If this is the case, the Zambia is disintegrating into chaos. Rightly so, because we are having an election in 2026. And if these issues are not taken serious, people are saying, we don't care, it's why me and all that. But the bottom line is, it's not about why me, it's about justice. And for me is that if it's true that he has been killed at the hands of the police, if it's true, those who have done that, they must be able to get away with it right now. But time will catch up with them. They must be held accountable for the atrocities. So for me, this is a red flag for all stakeholders, both government actors and non-government actors, to ensure that there is a deterrent by the police to act in a manner which impedes on the rights of people. No one has got the rights to take anyone's life, regardless of what they have done. Yes, I know and I admit the insults, why me, were so much, but they had no right to take his life if they did so. If they've done so, for now, similarly, they think to be in power. But you see, truth has got the way of living its stress. And those accountable, those who are responsible for these atrocious acts will be held accountable. I think that's what I wanted to comment. I can't comment on the economy and all that, what's happening, the statistics. For me, it's a joke.
Honorable Sencho Banda, let me take advantage. What has been your reaction when you've been seeing these all of a sudden good statistics, and especially parroted by a credible entity like Bloomberg, that Zambia is on its march to development, that Zambia has in 2024 recorded 6.5% economic growth and is expected to do another over 6% growth in 2025. What has been your reaction?
Firstly, if you look at the year in question, which we're talking about, it's the year which Zambia was hit hardly. I mean, was hit very hard by the drought. And you know very well that energy is at the core of driving the economy. In fact, it's said energy has got direct relationship with economic growth and human development index. That being the case, in the last 4 years, including the 2024, if you look at the UPND policy as it relates to energy in terms of electricity as well as petroleum, in the last 4 years, the petroleum, diesel, and so on and so forth has been very high. We've had issue of load shedding, and that has had a huge impact in the capacity of the country to be productive. Most companies have been affected. In fact, to that effect, IMF had projected that actually the growth should have been 1.3, if I'm not mistaken, thereabout. Yeah. In fact, the Minister of Finance even projected that actually the growth will actually will go downwards, will reduce. And then suddenly you come out and say, actually, the year in question did better. What is the motive? One thing is that, like I've said, you cannot manage a country with propaganda. Because the cooking of statistics is propaganda. Because reality will always expose you. After you've cooked that those statistics and you acquire the debt, so what next? Reality will always expose you. So for me is that we need to be forthwith in how we manage the affairs of the country. The statistics we produce are not just for Zambia. They are for many stakeholders. There are those who want to come and invest in Zambia. There are those who want to interact with Zambia in many ways, but they would want to look at the statistics of Zambia. For example, already, we're talking about the life expectancy has gone up. Others who look at that, and so since Zambia is getting better in terms of life expectancy, which means the intervention in the health sector, they are doing it very well. Meaning that actually, in terms of food security, they are doing it very well. Which means actually even the life standards are getting better, because these are the various factors which impact on life expectancy. But if the lived reality is different, you know. So for me is that we need to be candid. We need to be, you know, even as we manage public affairs, we cannot sit down and cook statistics for one objective, to acquire the procure a loan, and forgetting the bigger picture. So for me, that's my comment regarding that matter.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you, Honorable Sensho Banda, former MP for, I think, Kasenengwa. Make your contribution. The phone lines are open. Please call now so that you do not have to call when we are about to close, like most of you like doing. We're discussing 3 issues. We've given an update regarding the late President Edgar Chagwa Lungu. Government is reaching out to an out-of-court settlement. We're discussing the disappearance of Waimi. The indications are very, very bad. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from. Yes, and kindly speak louder.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, Waimano Mamba Murishani.
Yole salet sunga shana imwe.
Nawe na yefere salet sunga.
Emkwai.
Kuyuke.
Emkwai. Yola nden pon diashin mwebani amashina and liashin shmo.
Ivowa mutale Johnny.
Wa mutale Johnny. Yola nden poyama.
Imano Mamba ine question yonde kushani nshali lako panono. Badi ila nika neba isu ile kutisamba ila wale punda ati kweni.
Kwenyu.
Ati kweni. Nomba ndefo anjipushe ni nshali lako Waimano Mamba kushe ila wa isu ile ya maraiti. Kudi yabili kuchisamba nangu kudife imwele ya shile ya chitaronchi barungu.
Okay.
Ekwesheni nkwete yonshalile. Kozile na ishile atu barungu. Ewa shile wa chitaronchi bamba no kukula. Ya lile na mkupa kuma final touches. Adeni PF government ya fumapo paisa ba UPND. So shishi venga kulimbi na bene bambi liyo kupanga. Nangu nili ya ini.
Mkwai. Okay. Yeah, no, I'll answer you. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, call. Let's get as many calls as possible so that we can then answer you. The project in Samba has raised a lot of issues. Is it an old project? Is it a new project? It is... sorry. Let me just go on a brief break in case the person is calling.
Not shut media houses. The truth is that old habits die hard. There are some members of our society that still have that lingering, understanding that they can walk into a radio station and intimidate journalists. The law will catch up with them. The law will catch up them, and slowly this thing will die out, because it's not an event. It's a process. It's teaching people how to behave, because they behaved like that for 10 years. It became normal. So I just want to say to you, this government understands the importance of having the media, a serious professional media, genuine media.
Thank you very much. I am privileged, I think, if the number I suspect is a real number, but let's ask. Good evening, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
My name is Reverend Edith Mutale, and I'm calling from Lusaka, Zambia.
Mayo mulishani, iyo nachimona njele ushevo wa ambassador. Mkwai Mayo, no, good to hear from you, Mayo. I'm live on this program. I don't know what you'd like to contribute. I'm discussing 3 topics. Ididi ashdiawa former president wa Edgar Lungu. Nefifia mulumendo wa imi, nefifia ma economic statistics. Nishishiwe subject mwala salapo.
Mkwai na shipikisha ukufuma hapo ba president wesu ba number 6 president bafuire pa 5 June ukufika nelelo. Na shipikisha sana numba omutima lelo watila hawe kanandepo. Ushe kwena nga kuko nkafye. Ine nalifuirwa bawiso bafuire 47 years ago na pano ndi nchilimbelosha nombanga chakuti nalifuirwa naliumfwa n'obukali bwa mfo mwaome ngafwa. So I can stand in the gap yaba Esther Lungu n'okumona ekyo balepitamu. She must be traumatized. Imagine this is the last day and you are saying, okay, now we are going to have a closure. So that when ngamwashika mwaposero bamuchirindi chilafuirishako kupola. Nomba lyamuletila mwalaya mukupola. Eryo nomba batila yo tatulefaya mupole. Bamutwala kukoti. Can you imagine how traumatic that thing was? You are in the church waiting for a service to start so that you can come to the closure of this thing. And they tell you, stop it. You go to court. Really? What type of fwebantu bamusango shanya benga kitecha musango evyo. Inganga waliniwe bakuchitira omukashu musango fidya kuti wamfa shani. Ala infwa yali kalipa. Infwa ila kalifya. Ero mwali umfane ekipingo ffe kyatweba okuta info emperekesha ya buntu nso buno tulimu kyali wamolesa nga munganda yamali okutira munganda yamalira nombanga kyakutira walafwayo kupaka saba biyo abaleelosha awene nakimpesha amano kwera nali shipikisha shonse shinshikuire mulanda ntira fe kandi emfwa lelo omutima wakana nati baestefe bale umfwa efe naine na umfuire. Abana efe bale umfwa n'abana abandi naine efe baumfuire. Nomba munjebe ilyo mwakitefyo mwakina kuti natole ya kukoti mwatwala n'abantu abo kukoti abiri mwabwere ekinfutanuma amutiyo natwefumya omulando. Seriously, how can we behave like that? That is very inhuman. Ine nimpa pechine chine pantu chichintu nshatala nchimona poku chitika muri chino chalo. Nangu bale landa atiyo basata balifuirire kunse ya chalo chachine. He was in power and things were straight. Takwali wabapatire. Nombanga mwati mumone balungu mo bapitire kwera nangu tapako ososwa kwa landire bayumba. Mumone fe bale bachita. Abo akainde. He never ever, not even one day, acknowledged that Balungu was the president of this country. So what has changed? Ukutemwa kwa fuma pi, ukwakutia mutile yo, inendefu afenke se shika, umuntu tukamushikile kono. Abo bana Zambia abo ba mulilo kabeshana, abo ba mpapusha sana. Mulilo kabeshta, lena Zambia nshaba ishile kuli iwono kwisa kwebo kutila ifo tulefu aicha Balungu tubalete kuno kurusaka, eko tuise tubabiki. Kenani waishile kwa mwina Zambia nshi, ndefu abanje yoyo mwina Zambia waireko. Other than themselves, ilo bamono kutila basebana pali chichintu bachite chalo chonse chali bamuenamu ifyafilanda bakaponya tina bakumuenamu nabo bene bali bamuenamu tachiwe mefe nangu pa nono yo ichimwachita kulupwa lwa Balungu namulufyanya eri okubula omuneno mwamuteka tale yamukuti alali atupushe awe chena tachatala chimoneka echo batata bamwamba
emkwai
mwana wandi tulelolesha ekintu koko kiretutwala. We will see where we are going because this thing has never happened. Never. Nangwiro bafuire mumone muletila ba rupia banda. Bali nani wabafatire ba rupia banda abantu bose bali bashikire fe wino. Icha mone kapali ba Hakainde na ba lungu. Ulupato lwali moneka, everybody knows that ba Hakainde tabamutebe no munago lungu yo. Ili alibu president bale musonsomba. Fibusha munge bechacha kitike ku Mungu ba mwamba bwelele ni kunuma muye ku Mungu. Kiraba kitire ingani mufyalo fimbi nga cha kitike shani. Nishi tukikira mumbali kulanda okukyakira ekintu takyawe emencho ba Hakainde ba kitire. Momba muletira yo bali nkakire. Ile bakukakire mulanda ushwa kitire. I'm very disappointed in kwena na chinkalipa lero chankalipa na mfa kwa chichakalipa na mfa obufyashi bwakalipa uko muno munandi Esther alechula fya n'abaana balelira ala ninchi fya bwafi atobwa kutira tafari apa kuti wayamu ikachako kukuboko wamwe watiwe chine lilira pachifuba chandi alilira ko muna pachifuba chandi. It's
Mayo,
very painful.
Yeah. Let me take advantage. You first, you are a renowned leader in our country. You've been part of the church. You have a voice of the church. You served as ambassador to Sweden, and currently you're one of our seniors in our country. What do you think should be done? Pari Chichilo Chawa Edgar Lungu.
Moneni ichikalamba feinecho namona pwechinga chitika. Hakainde should step back. Once he steps back, everything will go well. No, but each one a particular shaft of Kutakanofena about Ponichinch. Nichinch, in Engava, he went around to my for Mukes and Anguikuinga, one and one Dimuke Sako. Nishin Fuyoku, particular Kutin Seko. When we now, what am I reasons? I should have fought Kutila in any security with your winga one. No, but Palange, the Romonto Alanda, through you, she fire Akeseko Kuchiro Chandi, Kutuma Patikisha Shan. Ngacha Kuchina Fema Hakainde, but step back. Once he does that, I'm sure Badiabantu, Imitimaika Bawi. Mona in Pani would always Kubadi no Kuchibese, Ukufumaku, Ukuk South Africa, Kuisakuno. Nadipana Panga, the Paman, you might wandi, Ali Shile, Eshia let Tuma. Bushanati iwe chishu letu tumina ati mama mumusebo na cha mukufa gasi yakwipikira isangire muri fima armored cars nomba na unfo mwenso ama armored cars on this day at yes nomba munjebe ingacha kutubira bushikubayishire muno abantu babalesha okuya mukumona okukulolesha okuchita ukwemini na mumusebo okuti bamwe president wabo nga fisti achitike bushenga kwali mutende.
Yeah.
If you to Mulelanda Tata, Tapali na problem ni Hakainde. Baselefe Batilawa in a selapo.
Kumunandi talem for
Fila Putuka, Bafila Selapo, Vayoku, Edo Nambari Yama Sela, Babi Kapunangu, Ababa number 2 Wabo, Nanguniva Muimbu, never got a friend abantu kwabenga about Vayabe Minina. Mushakana Febe Nambaka Eko. Elio na babe none kamili nangu lyali ne bali batuka ba Edgar Lungu twale umfwa. He never raised the voice. Bali ingirenga kateka baye abantu batumwe. Uyu muntu muletuka mufyashi. Uyu muntu muletuka ni former president. Kuti mwasumini shashani fya musango efyo. He never uttered a word. He never ever said anything. He should have done that as the leader. He would have said, no. These are insults which you cannot hail at a former president. But we never
Mayo, epo chivipileko, nelidi never for bakateka. Abantu abapalamine kuri ba Hakainde chiremanga mamonenselesha wapa social media against the former president. No mo balele muria mwini, and the family. The president hasn't spoken to stop them.
Exactly. So how are you going to see this thing run smoothly when these things are happening and then you are quiet? Because when Angabadi Batila se when if you muleti time bakoswe ba watchdog in abanina banyakole Kenny ififitafiwe mena ngupano kutuma tukashani umuntu na muchitumbi mwamutukira komo awe ifitefe twalaikala muri kino kyalo iyo munelanda pali waimiwini nangu inenga fyafya chilanda balya basensho banda na ine shaletemwa inseri aletukana naliona kesho uyu mwana ni mwana bani ishinsere shonse atukana shakwi lero nga afwa inenga nemufyashi ifwire nakwata enkumbu ishakuti anomba uyu mwana afwa shani. How can we say okay it's okay kafwe fye
bantu aletuka bakateka
awe eyo infumu yonse
itukwa kumbali emkwani
infumu yonse itukwa kumbali tabere mutuka palya iyo itukwa kumbali lero baleza ati yo watukire mfumu muleteni kunoleke tumwipai takwabe kya musango efyo. It's very unfortunate that we can see this Zambia iyo tule munelelo. These things that are happening today are just unprecedented. We've never been in a country like that. We've never been. There's never been a country where hatred has shown its ugly head. We can see it. No banga muleibe pamwebe nyati katupatuke nenishi muleibe pafi. We are now a divided nation. Really. We are a divided nation because of the things that are happening, and it's because of you, the leaders, who are supposed to control these things, and you are failing to do that.
Yo Mayo, Natasha Sana, thank you for the guidance. Hello Mayo, ini program yenu fire mwaimia issue ilienu and mwa langirila kwechalo. Thank you for the guidance that you've provided. Thank you very much. That was Mama Reverend Edith Mutale. She was Zambia's ambassador to Sweden. She's a senior leader. She was, under the CCZ, and she also used to pastor a church. She's very, very big in our country. But these are seniors. For the young people, may not even know who they are. And thank you for that guidance, Mayo. Thank you so much for that guidance you've provided. And thank you for the words of encouragement to the widow, Mama Esther Lungu. Someone says, Ambassador, I saw a verse that you should not bother the widows. Read it. So let me look for that verse.
Hello?
Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from. Yole Sale Tupala. Please introduce yourself, tell us where you are calling us from, and make your contributions.
My name is Mr. Mwaba. I'm calling from Manchester.
Okay, Mr. Mwaba from Manchester. Make your contributions, my brother.
Yeah, thank you so much for giving us this opportunity to talk to you. First and foremost, first Parliament statistics.
Yeah.
If you think of these statistics being inflated, you have to wait until when you get closer to the elections. These guys, when you get in power through propaganda, and when you get in power again, you start manipulating stuff, and you still think like in opposition. It's sort of working. So all the statistics are economics. For the country to move forward, it's impossible to get those figures if the current load shedding situation is the same. So, economy has grown by 6%. You ask people, can you see any difference? No. The people are becoming poorer, and it's an insult to the Zambian for you to be saying that the economy has grown by 6%. And then on the issue of why me, that man, if he claims to be a church elder, we come to the same church. So if you're an elder, but why don't we come home and sit down? You can tell me where I've gone wrong. My son, we make peace. That's what real elders do. And you know what would have happened? Instead of showing some because everyone would have said that, what's the point? Look what the president has done. But what is happening here is, like he's enjoying these politics of division. What he's doing exactly is copying exactly what Donald Trump does, sticking to his base. When his base do anything, he never attacks them. He sticks with them. But then one thing over there is dividing the country. You know, is dividing the country. And we all just have to be honest. And the only thing we need to do is to get rid of this man. You know, 2026, it's him and the people of Zambia uniting as one. That's the only way we get our country back. Because what's happening in Zambia, where on the issue of like what has happened with why me is, it can happen to anyone.
Yeah.
Tomorrow it might be someone else. You know, and Kwakula Wefetsi, about a million of us, that's a like girlfriend, is that the country that we want? No. So I think every Zambian, we're seeing exactly all these issues, what they're doing, coming up with fake AI information on Facebook, YouTube and stuff. And Zambians should not fall for it. The moment we see it, we bring it down and say, this is fake news.
Yeah.
Because we need to do politics. Michael Santa said, under 5 politicians, and you could see it in plain view. You know, so I think all we have to do is we have to be united, stand together, and bring our country to the place where it needs to be. You know, because if you're for and you know the death of ECL, if they think that makes them stronger, it's actually waking up even people that were sleeping. People that were not talking like me, now we have to talk. Because we've seen where our country is. And that's why when he's there talking at, TikTok, people making noise, people are not sleeping, we know the message is getting to him. You know, and he's even going to make us even more louder. More louder. The numbers are just going to keep going up and up. So please, Mdara, do not give up. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep giving the platform to people to talk. And we will get our country to a better place. That's the only thing I wanted to contribute. Thank you so much.
My dear brother, thank you very much. Thank you very much. You know, it's encouraging when you hear Zambians who say, I actually never phone radio stations or TV stations or online platform like this, but I think I should say this. That's very encouraging. The more Zambians speak, especially people in the diaspora, you have a duty to speak, because our people in the country are more afraid because of the new cyber laws that are threatened every day. Someone asked me to read a verse that relates to when you mistreat widows. It's Exodus 22, verse 22 to 24. Woe unto the persecutor of the widow and the fatherless child. You shall not afflict or mistreat any widow or fatherless child. If you afflict them in any way, and then they cry unto me, I will surely hear their cry, and my wrath shall wax hot, and I will kill you with the sword, and your wives shall be widows, and your children shall be fatherless. My God, this is a very powerful verse. Exodus 22, verse 22-24. So the Lord takes it upon himself. In the New Testament, there's a verse where the Lord says he'll be a father to the fatherless and he'll comfort the widow. He literally takes over the issues of the widow and the fatherless, orphans, himself, not anybody else. And Exodus says, you shall not afflict or mistreat any widow or fatherless child. If thou afflict them in any way, and they cry at all unto me, I will surely hear their cry, and my wrath shall wax hot, and I will kill you with the sword, and your wives shall be widows, and your children fatherless. You know, we should appeal to the president. It must be even the first lady and the children, because the wrath of the Lord as promised in Exodus 22 is terrible. It's terrible. The Lord takes upon this matter himself if you mistreat or in any way bring wrath on the widow. Mwewa palamine kona wakateka mwapela kwa ivesi niba yoda limbitaba imonapo na inelo na imonapo. I know the other one in the New Testament that says the Lord says is is a husband to the widow and is a father to the fatherless. I've seen that, but this strong one in Exodus that promises to strike whoever does that to the widow. Oh my God, no mubiri waenda. You don't want that to happen to anyone. So if you are participating in any scheme to harass Mrs. Lungu, if you are participating in any scheme to harass the former First Lady, who's a widow and the children, you are mocking her, you are insulting her, just bring the body. If you are participating in any way, distance yourself. This verse, my God, is very strong. Honorable Kabesha, the Attorney General, just lost his wife, I think 2 years ago. We all mourned with him. So he must understand some of this. We don't want anything happening to him. But that verse is very, very strong. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Good evening, Ambassador Mwamba.
Good evening.
How are you tonight?
I'm very well, thank you, my brother. How are you?
I'm well. I'm just listening to you saying Exodus 22. There's a book my father gave me a long time ago.
Yeah.
It says nigga what? It says Exodus verse what? You know?
Yeah.
Now this is exactly the same thing. Exodus verse what? What are we talking? Is this person going to? I don't think this person really follows or would really you would get to him in terms of the Bible or any Christianity kind of setting. I don't think this person will be able to understand to that. And I don't think this person can listen to anyone. We all know that this person can't listen to anyone. But anyway, back to the main points of what you were talking about the 6% growth.
Yeah.
On the 6% growth, if we look at the 6% growth, how is Zambia going to grow to 6%? What are we looking at? What are the factors that contribute to the growth of an economy? One, we are looking at production in the country. Has Zambia got any production going on? Is there any productivity in Zambia? There is none. What's causing that? We don't have electricity. That's number one. Number two, what other factors are we looking at for an economy to grow? There's now what you call a knowledge-based economy. Economies grow via knowledge.
Yeah.
So you may have all these resources that you have as a country, but you certainly won't go anywhere. It's like giving a poor person funding. You give them their resources and you find them back to zero. They are broke, no money, and they are starving. This is how we are as a country. The first thing that we have to look at in a country is how the knowledge flows. At the moment, the way Zambia is, I don't really see us going anywhere. There's nothing interconnecting because you need to have sectoral interconnection where each sector speaks to each other. You see, so you're building up knowledge bases. That is how economies work.
Yeah.
So that in a way, when you are building up knowledge bases across sectors, you're building the innovation base. So with that innovation base, each one is kind of like prodding to each sectors. You know, there could be something lacking in other sectors, but because you have an interwoven economy, those other sectors that are lacking are being prodded by other sectors and put to task to move on.
Yeah.
Zambia is light years away from that. And if any president is going to go anywhere with Zambia, one thing that I look at myself is...
Do you think, before I let you go, do you think Zambia posted, my brother,
on the knowledge-based economy?
My brother.
When they are not,
my brother.
we're not going anywhere.
Hello, my brother, just a minute.
Hakainde is a child on this. There's nowhere. There's nothing there. He's wasting our time. He'll bring up Hakainde is good at himself, developing his own family and creating his own wealth. Yeah, he can do that. We need him as one of one of the individuals in the economy, not as the leader, as the president. He's not taking us anywhere. So, to come down to the World Bank 6% economic growth, we have what we call economic hitmen, and Zambia has been hit before. These people hit world economies. They hit countries. There's an author, a person called John Perkins, an American individual who wrote a book called Confessions of the Economic Hitman.
Yeah.
This individual, it dawned on him that what he was doing to economies of the world, he was, he brought in a lot of suffering. And he had to write a book about it to let people know. But in situations like ourselves, Zambia, so it's not many people who like reading or trying to get the knowledge.
Yeah.
Will just like arguing on the basis of lack of knowledge. And this is where we have a problem. So these people are telling us the economy is going to grow to 6%. There is a reason why they are telling us the economy is going to grow to 6%. We've been here before. You look at how we lost everything in Zambia. We had everything. We used to manufacture bicycles. We used to do Land Rovers. We used to do Fiats. We used to do radios. We used to do tires. Everything. If these kids who are 20 or 15, if they had to go back in time at that time when we used to do such things, they would stand up and really fight for what we can do as a people, because we've done this before. If you tell children or 25, 30, even 30-year-olds, you tell them this is what we can do, they would laugh at you. It's a manufacture anything.
No, thank you very much, my brother.
Manufacture anything, but we have been there before, and we have done that before. We've done bullets, we've done copper wires, So this is the knowledge that these people, these kids, will have to be taught. So coming back to the 6% growth, with which electricity are we going to grow the economy? And if you look at what Hakainde is doing right now, if you had to ask him, the project that you have, for projects, you have the beginning, the middle, and the end. Find out, okay, you are saying 6% by 2026. You give us the steps on how we're going to do that, how you're going to build the power that will supply the necessary demands of our factories, and which factories are going to come in. Which sector is talking to which sector? How are they building up their resilience? How are they building up the finance, the marketing, the technical expertise? How are they related? Where is the knowledge base? Because each sector will need to have knowledge bases. How are we building these knowledge bases to build this economy?
My brother, let me take some other calls. Thank you very much. Yeah. And thank you for the lecture. Thank you for the lecture. Thank you. Oh, wonderful, wonderful. I would have allowed him to continue to speak, but the calls are so many. Let's hear from others. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Good evening. Thank you. Good evening. Thank you. Just straight to the point. I just wanted to respond to that caller who's registered bill to Zambia. Even if you are not in Zambia, don't speak about Zambia. Zambia is not a jungle. No. There are some things that are happening. So you can't just write off Zambia. I mean,
I haven't had the caller. I haven't had the caller who's belittling Zambia. Who do you think was belittling Zambia?
The one that is from talking just now. So took a bit of time to.
No, I think he's not belittling Zambia. He's just saying there is no evidence to demonstrate 6% growth.
drives the economy of Zambia is mining and agriculture. So if you have positive results in mining and agriculture, but straightforward, it's just a straightforward translation to.
Let me advise. Hello, my brother.
Yes.
My brother,
Yes.
let me advise. Say your opinion. Don't attack another opinion. He has put his opinion. Tell us, in your view, the question is there. Are the statistics credible? They are saying our economy grew by 6% in 2024. And there's another projection that will grow by 6%. Yesterday, they released statistics, human development statistics, that, for example, the life expectancy has jumped from 51 years to 67 years. And there are other statistics that have just been released recently showing this buoyancy of a good economy. Are they credible? So speak to that. Speak to that.
Hello?
Yes, you are on. Speak to that. Hello. Oh. I was just guiding. I hope you can call back. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Michael Zephania Piri calling from Osaka.
Michael, quickly to the point.
Yes, to the point is that what is happening, like what they have said, that the statistics, our economy is going to grow by 6%. That is Ufi. Because when he was in opposition, we were told that if I'm sworn in by 10 hours, by 14 hours, things will change. Up to now, this is 4 years. Only those who are praising them, they are going to believe. But us, who knows how the economy grows, you cannot grow an economy when the country is experiencing load shedding. Now we are at 5 hours. It's just 5 hours on paper. But some areas, they stay maybe 2 hours, just 2 hours, 3 hours, Malait Naya, until the other day. And Zesco keeps on sending messages that no, sorry for inconvenience and so forth. When our friends, the neighboring countries, are enjoying, the president is on record to say that everything is going to be better when people voted for him. Now, when you look at, they have increased in everything what PF did. Where PF left it, it has now become double. Everything, it was 200%. And today, they have just reduced just a bit of fuel. Fuel is now, petrol is at 25. They are saying we have achieved. When fuel was at 17 kwacha, so when you minus that, there's 211 kwacha which they need to deal with. So
Okay, mister.
So as I conclude, I am appealing to all Zambians to register and vote him out in 2026. That's the only way Zambia is going to liberate itself. Thank you.
Thank you very much. There's a dear brother of ours who I think deserves to be heard, and I hope that he can come on. And let me just call him myself. My brother, I took the option of calling you back. I don't want to stifle your view. I was merely guiding. I was saying it's not good to attack the other callers. Even Mukosa, who people don't like, I allow him to speak. Now, say your view. In your view, are the statistics credible? Speak to that.
I would say yes. No, the point I wanted to drive at with him is like coming out to say nothing is happening. I mean, you can't make that statement. Of course, I mean, even if you are very far from Zambia, we are able to see things happening. If you look at the investments that has been done in mining, that can show us to say there's something happening, because the Zambia's economy is based on copper production. So the more we produce copper, the more our economy gets better. If we have activities in the copper belt in the northwestern province, we'll see. If we have activities where, like now, we're at bumper harvest, that will speak to something. Of course, I'm not saying we don't have challenges in Zambia. Challenges are there, and our challenges will not be sorted out overnight. But we are making steps towards something that we're able to see. When we see people getting employed, that's something that will speak to the growth of the economy. Because if people are getting employed, yes, the economy is growing. Because there's no way people can be employed when there is no economy growing. So there are those few things that we can see. Of course, it's not like who would want to but there are some positive things happening.
Okay, I think I get your point.
Yes.
But are the statistics credible that you have seen recently?
Looking at the question maybe we can ask is what data are they using, or what formula are they using to come up with those figures? Maybe that's a question we should ask. But if they are using something, like if you talk about World Bank is credible, if they tell you something, it's something that you can trust. So maybe the question would be, what are they using? If maybe they show you what they are looking at. Maybe
the other caller, even now related to those the credibility of those institutions, World Bank and IMF, how in many times they've acted as hitmen, and he referred to a famous book that you think shouldn't be taken into account.
But you, as an ambassador, you've interacted at that level. What do you think yourself?
Oh, my views are very clear. These statistics have been massaged. There's no truth that we scored 6% economic growth last year. Similar even this year. So,
of course, we've grown, but which one? Maybe it's so exaggerated. Maybe it could be something like 3% or what? What do you think? Like 3% maybe? Or
I
2%?
think their initial estimate, where they took into account the level of investment, they took into account the catastrophe of drought, and then, the after effects of, they put it at 2.5%, and World Bank put it at 1.2%. I think those are credible results. Looking at the lack of activities, economic activities in the country in 2024. Even now, like someone said, we are only producing power, 5 hours of power to our people out of a cycle of 24 hours.
That's a point also, yes.
So the 6% for me becomes an artificial number. Then I ask, behind the motive, what could be driving? Why would you tell a lie about economic statistics that are supposed to be credible? They're supposed to be sacrosanct, sacred. We are not supposed to tamper with facts like economic statistics.
Or maybe are they? But in terms of mining, how do they also experience load shedding in mining?
Even in mining, I know callers are waiting, but let me just answer you quickly because you are throwing these questions to me. Mopani, the opportunities are far bigger than the story you are being told. Mopani had an investment of $4.5 billion the last 5 years. Mopani should be in production now. We shortchanged the process and gave it a non-miner, an unknown entity. Imagine if we had given it to the listed companies that had bet. Mopani would be in production and probably would be rushing to 200,000, 300,000 metric tons. Currently, there's nothing happening at Mopani. The so-called investment happening in First Quantum in Solwezi. Number one, there's no immediate money that has come from FQM. FQM is troubled. If you have seen what has happened in cobalt mine, their mine in Panama. And two, they are relying on the payments, VAT, historical tax refunds from ZRA as investment into the new nickel mine. For me, there is no new money that has come to First Quantum. Whatever the politicians are saying, the evidence is very, very thin. Kalengwa mine in Kasempa, very good. It's good that that they've resolved the legal crisis that has plagued that mine, but they haven't started any production to effect. KCM, you know what Vedanta has done. As soon as they were given the papers, they rushed here. They are in New York. They're trying to do a public listing to get $1.5 billion from here. Again, which in my view is literally a fraudulent process. So even the so-called mining, even the so-called mining for me, there are too many holes. Okay. Thank you, my brother. Mwilanji Pusha. Hello, good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Good evening. This is Concerned Citizen. How are you, Ambassador?
Concerned Citizen, don't ask me because I'll take over the show. So you just make your contributions.
Oh, that's wonderful. No, we like the fact that you take over a show, and even this brief insights that you've given us are the reasons why we are always constantly glued to the Verified program, because we have verified analysis, impactful analysis.
Yeah.
Just to add on to what you were saying, I remember in my history lessons when I was young, and I'm a lover of history. And one of the things, there was a time when Stalin was being confronted by Western journalists with regard to what was happening with the gulags and the state of the Soviet economy at the time. And there was an insistence by the Western media at the time to paint a certain narrative about what was happening.
Concerned citizen, there is a Ash. I don't know how you have put your phone. Maybe put it away, maybe from your collar or something. There's a Ash noise. Yeah, make your contributions.
Am I clear now?
Yes, you are. Okay.
All right. I was saying, as a student of history, I remember a certain history lesson that we had about the Russian leader at the time, the Soviet leader, Joseph Stalin. And at the time, he was being pressured by Western media and the Western publics who wanted to paint a very negative picture of his rule. Not that he was a nice guy, but they wanted to obviously overemphasize the so-called ills that they had. So they were pointing out at what was happening at the gulags. They were talking about regression in the Soviet economy. And I remember he answered them and he said there are three types of lies. There are lies, damned lies, and statistics. And I think in this instance, we are being given the lie of statistics. I think speaking about it from a micro level, as somebody who lives in a middle income area, when I see the shops that have been closed, when I see young men who are potentially barbers but have had to close their businesses because they don't have the opportunity to run their business because there's load shedding, that statistic cannot tell me that the economy is moving forward. When I see young ladies who are ambitious and wanted to start hair salons and are unable to run their businesses and run their hair salons and are looking for alternative means of income, and when I say alternative means of income, it's not very favorable when I'm talking that way. It tells me that we are being fed the lie of statistics. Let's be perfectly honest with ourselves. An economy that only has 3, 4, 5 hours a day of electricity and functioning power cannot achieve 6% of growth. An economy that has erratic and monthly monitored fuel prices cannot register 6% of growth. An economy that has such drastic fluctuations in currency, one day it's 30 kwacha per dollar, next day it's 23 kwacha. Imagine just the exchange rate, the rate losses. Imagine a young lady who has a business of selling second-hand computers. She buys them in Dubai. She buys a whole container of second-hand computers at 30 kwacha per computer, and she has a margin. She gets here. By the time that container gets to Zambia, the dollar has appreciated, the kwacha has appreciated so much. But meanwhile, her stock, the consumer here can only buy it at 3,500 kwacha per laptop. How does she recover that gap? How does she recover that income gap that's there? Yeah. So to me, this is a lie of statistics. And just to talk about the previous caller, who correctly was indicating that there is a tendency of having a lack of patriotism sometimes when people talk negatively about our nation, when they say the wrong things. Ambassador, one of the things that made me make a firm decision that I was never going to support the Hichilema regime was the very, very dedicated negative international press campaign that preceded the elections of 2001, where you would see front cover pages about how the previous regime was mismanaging the economy on The Economist. You have a cover of The Economist, the International Economist, on one day this. 3 months later, the South African version of The Economist is like this. You have a very dedicated negative campaign that was encouraging disinvestment and support of the Zambian economy. Now, to me, Mr. Ambassador, I know you have further ambitions. If I ever hear you, regardless of how the economy is and how my beautiful nation is doing, but if I ever hear you stand on a podium and say, this is not the right time to invest in Zambia, you will never have my vote. Our president, on the day he was the president-elect, and he had a 2-hour press conference, said he had dissuaded his partners in Europe and other regions not to invest in Zambia because he felt there was chaos in this economy. There is never chaos in our country. There's always opportunity. And if you're a politician and believe in this country, that must never, ever come out of your mouth to say you can't invest in Zambia. That's a lack of patriotism, and that's a lack of a love for Zambia. So I agree with that caller, but I also remind that caller that the person who said these things and used an international media infrastructure to negate and paint a negative picture on our country. The prime person was the president himself. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, concerned citizens. On this program, I love it that we have such insightful contribution from an array of our people. Thank you for the knowledge and thank you for your contribution. Caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from. Yes, sir. Jimizo, please make your contribution, Jimizo.
Yes. Okay. For me, I don't really support the way like the police officers have been arresting citizens. Yes. I remember when the government came into place, most of you politicians were complaining to say the manner in which they were.
Is the line cut, Mr. He has muted himself. He's showing that he has muted himself, I think accidentally. I hope that he can call back so that we hear his contribution. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be closing in the next 15 minutes. So if you have any contribution, make it now. The line is open. We're discussing the update regarding the late president, and we had a wonderful caller in a senior citizen, Mama Reverend Edith Mutale, Ambassador Reverend Edith Mutale. She provided counsel to this country. The issues around why me and how he's been treated is also a matter of serious concern. And then we have lies, damn lies, and the worst lies are statistics. Never bring statistics to a matter of ridicule. Statistics must be credible, otherwise they become worse than damn lies. Is this a situation in Zambia where we've seen a flurry of all of a sudden adjusted and revised statistics that are showing glowing? I know there's a very thin line in telling a good story about our country and in telling the truth about our country. And which weighs more? Should statistics be propaganda? No way. Statistics should never be propaganda. So make your contribution on those three topics. Okay, let's see if we can listen to this. So I'll play it later. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from. Good evening, sir.
Call me Mr. Mungwi.
Mr. Mungwi, how are you, sir? Make your contributions.
Thank you. Alabatira Uishibe Fiachita. alafu ano okushiminkisha shefina chita kulina bambi abengesansange pon Africa. You know, it's unfortunate that if the death of President Edgar Lungu was a straightforward death, why would Zambia be in this dilemma? And I'm calling you from England.
Okay.
My presumption would have been that if I had a way, speak to the family and they engage proper investigators, especially from here in England, to examine the body. Okay? And they would come up with something. What has been happening is pointing to something very, very, very sinister. There is a game that people think they are smart, that they have played. And to suggest that even if the president said, no, I'm not going to be part, he would say that to fool the family. Once the body arrives in Zambia, you actually ask it maybe some people in inverted commas, like the army, to take over, take charge. Okay? So the best advice I can give is let the body of President Edgar Lungu be buried in South Africa for now. You know, this thing has never happened anywhere. And I don't know why. For a reason, a lot of Zambians can't think straight. It's a good, yeah. So sad.
Mwalanda, thank you very much. Thank you, and thank you for your insights. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
We are watching from afar. And you start wondering, is this our country? Called Zambia.
Yeah.
Please, if there's any chance of allowing special people to look at the body of the former President Lungu, something would definitely come up.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, our caller from the United Kingdom is talking of probably corona investigation or a proper post-mortem. Good evening, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, Mr. Mwamba.
We are well, sir. Tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Yes, this is Don Oscar. I'm calling from Italy.
Padre, our Catholic priest from Italy. Make your contribution, sir.
Thank you very much. Two things. One regarding the situation of the body of Dr. ECL in South Africa. I thank God I had an opportunity to go and say thank you to and bless and try to bless the body of ECL that day, which shocked the world, that somebody blocked the body from coming to Zambia. It shocked us because we were there in the morning at 8:30. A group of us were 4 clergy, and we were prepared to go and bless the body at that private airport in the morning. We were all astonished
even the security, the South African security, we were in the same VIP lounge. We were blessed to be in the same VIP lounge with the South African military and defense. And so they were surprised, we were surprised. Everyone was so shocked. We were shocked what was happening. And there was some secrecy, of course. But at the end, by 12 o'clock, we understood that, well, the body was not going to be transported to Zambia. Terrible situation, was terrible. That was not the only one, but again, the terrible thing was to stop the burying of Isio a day before. That was terrible. I know my brother Kangwa is the secretary to the cabinet. He is a Catholic. I felt pity for him. And Patrick Kangwa distributes the Holy Communion in the Catholic Church. To be put in that situation, I felt pity for our brother. And we prayed for the family, for Madam Lungu. We encouraged them, we encouraged the sister to Lungu and then Honorable Tisira Lungu. We prayed for them. And I think what has happened there, it is just correct and just for the family to bury, that is my opinion, to bury the body in South Africa because when you are not welcome, when he was not recognized by President Hakainde Hichilema, he has never recognized him as a president. And even last time when he mentioned, he said, the president that you elected, and so he still does not recognize him that he has been his president. So why bringing the body to a person who does not recognize you, who has never recognized you as a president? And then the last one was about the economy. Honorable Mwamba and the Zambian people are listening to this platform. I'm just going to share with you my experience when I was in Kitwe at Nkanamo. People are in the Copper Belt, you know where there is that. Nkanamo is just adjacent to Hotel Edinburgh, the Hotel Edinburgh. That Nkanamo is a new structure. Last year when I was in Zambia, the shops were working, everything was working. This year when I went back to Nkanamo, Zambian people are in the Copper Belt, you can testify this. I went into the mall and I found Bamwamba. Only 4 shops were working.
Oh my.
People have closed. Yes. Also, there's some sort of a supermarket there. And there was some barber shops, one barber shop. There's a supermarket. There was a bar, which is owned, I think, by the Zambian Greek. There was a bar, just entrance, you enter on the right. And there's a shop selling some computers and some mobile phones. So, Nkanamo shops have closed since last year. Now, you are asking the Zambian people 6% growth. How can it be 6% growth when people have closed shops? Statistically, mathematics here, which is not an opinion, does not give us a positive answer. So I hope the government can just, well, we are now in a campaign mode. Next year is voting. Actually, by the end of this year, already campaign is beginning. Everyone knows that the ruling government will start bringing some figures in their favor here and there. It's a normal thing, but don't say that this is a reality. It's a campaign mode. Yes, we understand, we listen to this information, but it's not the reality. Why do I say it's not the reality? It's because of the example that I've just given you. Go at Nkanamo, the UPND who are listening here, go at Nkanamo, see for yourselves what is happening. Without electricity, people can't do business. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you very much. That was Father Donesco from Italy, Father Oscar Mwansa Pombo. is a very strong voice in our country in public affairs, a Catholic priest based in Italy. And thank you for that view. I'll play, there's an audio that has been sent to me. I don't know if the owner wanted me to identify, but I'll play it. But let me just take some last calls, because I can see there are a lot of calls that we keep on missing. Yeah. Please call before we close in the next 3-4 minutes. Please call so that we hear from you and your contribution during this period. Hello, good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Good evening, Ambassador.
Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
I'll remain anonymous.
Anonymous, make your contributions.
Okay, I'm calling from Lusaka, Zambia. Mr. Mamba, the only problem that we have is these people are not honest. We are not going to be dealing with people who are not honest in everything that they do. When we talk of economic growth is not done on paper. When you say the economy is growing, it trickles down to the citizen, the people who feel it to say the economy is improving or the economy is doing fine, looking at how things are going on the ground. But if these people are going to be playing with figures just to say we are growing at this percent and that, it is not helping. Challenge that we have with these people, we have people who are not honest in everything that they are doing. Look at even the issue of the funeral. They took this matter to the court, but today they are saying they want to negotiate with the family. It was just a matter of twisting. They are trying to force that family to come to the negotiating table. It's the same as they are trying to blackmail that family. Because they knew to say, once we take this matter to court, the court charges are very, very expensive in South Africa, where this family will be forced to come to the negotiating table. Then today you are saying, no, we want to throw that case from the courts so that we talk to the family. Are you being honest? The only problem, we are dealing with leaders who are not responsible, who are not honest, who are very manipulative, and leaders who cannot listen to the people. I think as a country, we need to make sure that these people, by next year, they are not in government. Because when you talk of the mines, what is that you are benefiting from the mines? You are not benefiting anything. There are tax holidays there. So if you say, no, we are benefiting from the mines, how? It's not possible. We are not benefiting anything from the mine. When you go into agriculture, yes, we can say we had the bumper harvest, but even that bumper harvest for last season, it has not yet come to come and cushion the food shortages and the poverty levels. So what we can ask from these people, just ask for being honest to the Zambian people. They need to tell the Zambian people the truth. You cannot run an economy where there is no power. The fuel price is expensive. You cannot say fuel is cheap at 28 kwacha. When you found it at 17, then 28, which is better, 17 or 28? So they should not stop. They should stop lying to the Zambian people. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and thank you for your contributions. Yeah, there are more calls. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Good evening, Bamwamba.
Good evening.
I'm calling from Chililabombwe, Bamwamba.
Thank you very much, Chilabombwe. Make your contributions.
And yes, thank you very much. Bamwamba, I know we are talking about the statistics. The statistics, I'll take it to Kuliba Shimaini. Okay? Kuliba Shimaini, you find that in the Shimaini, Nalibomba sana pa mugodi. Eno pa mugodi, tuale shibati, izikopa tule fumia, tule donsa. Mole vendeme wa mwamba. Tuale mona ma statistics kukwati, izikopa kwena tule donsa. Nga waingira pa maini, shift posale pepika kopa, wamona. Nomba ino shika, iyo bale tueva. Nangu kabuswe, ale batabumba bu maini. Yes, kuti aishiba, iyo tuale fumia kopa. Ino shitano tukusa fije pishosho ngapati mumfa pakati pali abaliva kwati obaliva. Those are the things from a dump site. pamukodi fyafya shalile efe tukusa how can they say oh producing ku KCM twise kumopani uye kumopani tikaona production ya chine kai kuna no best wali bomba twana tukuyishiba not whatever nensu what are they doing nothing na mwebe na meaning aya two minds yo wale yumfila pati yo twesta burtredosa na makatapirelo ya leisa mwasa mwana ya matolo kwale but every day mule mwana kupolisi sirifuma nomba ino shitawe kuwaya waya fe we need proper abantu abo bufina buchila wale bapa bufi come to chila bombe people are looking miserable lelo mailo elo bari takatapila ba kabuswe kai bari mu campaign mode tuwebe tiyo tule twano matama kikawama vale bepa vale abantu abashinda ulwa zombi not if ino style pita ile style pita already ino as I'm talking now shimani kuta station produce ile the whole kamenza takuli amenshi for the last 6 months takuli amenshi ale kwa kutapu takuli amenshi elo shimani ale nunka na lamba so fyonse bitulela ndefyo yonse ama figures the cooked figures songa twalanda atiyo twaliba pita. So that is what I'm saying. I am a statistics papela. That's why especially the two mines. If I look at Mopani, if I look at KCM, tapadi vile kitika. Na shwenda mashakuwa wa pakutweso pele. Akale wale wakati mwafura paka doti. Vale pela kashinga ni yesterday lo vale pela the other day. But it was supposed to be paid the other time. So if you want to we are bitter. We are waiting for 2026. Vale mwana kwati. I want to also we are happy. We are not happy. Because ato tuletina ni cyber valoya vesto twakwata valia mona so hence tulelolela fe eto shele kofe there's nothing we are waiting for if we ba shimaini ifwe ngakuli bala bambi ni bala kula kwine baile kukawama te ba shimaini bambi abako so as a result please to papa to mwamba continue speaking for us no komuli buke second angu next year muma April to papa ta mwamba tuleni fwaisha. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. A miner from Chirilabombwe. Now let me play that audio.
Comes out and says he thinks the World Bank, IMF are credible. That in itself scares me. We should not really put these institutions as without influence. I remember in the PF era, we had so many of these rating agencies that came up and rated us terribly. Even when you thought people were still, enjoying some level of development around the country, they still judged us based on just what were borrowed monies and how they saw their perspectives. To me, I started calling it out at that time. I said these rating agencies are influenced by certain bodies. So, as a nation, we should always be careful with these institutions. We cannot just say just because IMF said, World Bank said, let's be diligent, Zambia. They do not sometimes want to also be backroad. And when I say backroad, is that they have come in, put in their program, and would like that we stick to it. So why not talk that program up by, smoothening some of the statistics, making them look like we're on a rosy path? 23 hours of load shedding a day or 20 hours, whatever it is too much. Mining alone cannot just give us a huge GDP growth. Any economy growing has to grow on many factors. I need not even be admiring figures being posted about the numbers sunk into investments in the mining sector. Some of those investments were done actually during the PF era. So let's be cautious. Zambians, please, let's read these things with a little bit of
Thank you. That was advice. Is just because he's saying, someone said the IMF and World Bank statistics are credible and should not be questioned. Well, they've been at the center of the various crises that Africa has had, and is advising that we take them with a pinch of salt. So that was the matter. I think, thank you for your contributions. And thank you to the mother, she calls herself Mother to Waimi, who gave us some insights into his last day in Harare when he was abducted on 1st June and taken over to Zambia. We've identified the so-called fiancé who was at the center of this, who lured Waimi, and there was an issue of a passport that was obtained for Waimi and rings, and Waimi believed that he was collecting these things. And we've shown you the picture of the passport and the young lady. I had the privilege of speaking to the young lady. She swears that she met Waimi on social media. They've never met in person. An engagement was done at Urban Hotel in Kasama, and in Salamweko Batwele. We've identified the parties, Bashibukombe, who were part of that. We've identified the actual young lady and the person who represented Waimi. Then the so-called ring and passport were taken to Waimi, where he was last seen and abducted. We will pursue that matter. The information is that Waimi arrived in Zambia on 1st June, and due to torture and extensive beatings, he died in police custody on 9th June 2025. The police that day issued a statement distancing themselves from an operation that was done by officers from service headquarters who had abducted it. This actually was an issue in Zimbabwe because no process was followed from Zimbabwe. You're supposed to work with the authorities in Zimbabwe, but it appears Waimi was abducted from Harare under those strange conditions. This matter should not die. If Waimi is alive, he was last admitted at Lilai Police. Whatever condition is in, produce him. That is our appeal to the Inspector General of Police, Grafo Msamba. Nangu mwalimu kontola molu, mwalimu chena, or is lying unconscious, produce him to the nation. If he has died, produce his body to his relatives so they can put him to rest. This matter cannot go away. We can't treat human beings like dogs. Thank you to the very senior people that called today in today's program, including Mama Edith, Reverend Edith Mtale Ambassador, for that call, and our brother Father Donesco, Father Oscar Mwansa Pombo, and the lady, Mother to Waimi, who called and who rely upon you. We might call you tomorrow to give us some insight into this case of Waimi. And then we have a lot of calls on the statistics, insightful debate on the statistics. So God bless you. God bless our country. Until we see you tomorrow, shalom, shalom, and we'll see you.